The wind on the plains of South Osage County didn't just blow, it whispered. Maggie Nohart, a striking Native American woman in her early 20s, stood amidst the tall grass, letting the spring breeze tangle her long, dark hair. She closed her eyes, inhaling the scent of the earth, a mix of sweet grass and the faint, heavy promise of oil beneath the soil. She opened her eyes and looked down at the vast expanse of land. It was wild, untamed, and beautiful. It was enough to farm, enough to raise livestock, and more than enough to keep her family alive in the rapidly changing frontier that would soon become the state of Oklahoma. "This land is ours now, Yona," Maggie declared softly, looking down at the toddler clinging to her skirt.
"It belonged to your grandfather."
Little Yona giggled, his tiny fingers reaching out to grasp the towering blades of grass that seemed ready to swallow him whole. Maggie watched him with a swelling heart. She had been born to the Bar-Koja people, but here, on this land, she was building a future with her husband, Henry Wati.
Heavy footsteps crunched against the dry earth behind her.
Maggie whirled around, her protective instinct flaring until she saw the robust, sandy-haired figure of Henry approaching with a grin. "Does our little Yunwea like the Cherokee country?" Henry asked, scooping Yona up as the boy ran circles around his father's legs. "Well, he better," Maggie teased, stepping into Henry's open arms. "This will all belong to him one day."
"Is this home to you too, Henry?"
Henry held her tight, his smile reaching his eyes. "Forever, Maggie," he whispered. The serenity of the moment shattered with the thunder of hooves. The smile vanished from Henry's face. 4 men on horseback were cresting the ridge,
racing toward them with a speed that spoke of violence. "Henry, we've got company!"
shouted Otis Waters, Henry's close friend, who had been working near the farmhouse. Otis, a broad-shouldered African-American man in his mid-20s, moved to intercept the riders, but Henry set Yona down gently. "Stay here," Henry commanded Maggie, his voice low and urgent. "Take Yona." Maggie scooped up her son, her heart hammering against her ribs, but she didn't run. She moved closer, needing to hear. The riders pulled their horses to a dusty halt. Otis stood his ground, but the tension was thick enough to choke on. He turned slightly to Henry, his voice a harsh whisper. "They claim to be from Indian Affairs and the court."
"They're asking for your father."
"They have rifles." Henry's jaw tightened. "Do they have badges?" "2 of them are Pinkertons," Otis replied grimly. "But they're not to be trusted." One of the riders, a young man with a rough, arrogant face, swung down from his saddle. He walked with the swagger of a man who believed the law was whatever he said it was. "Name's Jackie Taylor, Bureau of Indian Affairs," the young man announced. He gestured to the older, well-dressed man still on horseback, who cradled a double-barreled shotgun against his protruding belly. "This here's Ulysses Simpson. Mr. Simpson now owns the rights to this land and the oil derrick. These men are deputized with the court." Henry stepped past Otis, placing himself between the strangers and his family. "This is the Wati residence. My father, Hank Watie Sr., was allotted this land by the government. We're Cherokee."
"And he's passed on?"
Jackie sneered, holding up a piece of paper that rattled in the wind. "The courts say your daddy is behind on payment on these oil derricks Mr. Simpson contracted to him last June. We have 2 Pinkertons to escort you off Mr. Simpson's land for default." Ulysses Simpson leaned forward on his saddle, a smirk twisting his face.
"If you want to stay on my land, son, you'll have to pay."
"How much oil is that derrick producing daily?"
"Sir, that's none of your business," Otis snapped. "Ain't no one talking to you, boy," Jackie spat back. Maggie stepped forward, fear warring with anger.
She tried to defuse the situation, her voice trembling.
"Otis, do you mind helping me with Yona while I start supper?" It was a distraction, a plea for safety.
Henry whispered to Otis, "Hide them and come back." But as Otis moved to take the child, Ulysses Simpson's gaze fell upon Maggie. His grin widened, revealing teeth decayed from tobacco. Your woman can stay, Ulis leered. The insult hung in the air for a fraction of a second before Henry snapped. Consumed by rage, he lunged at Ulis, dragging the older man from his horse. A fist connected with Ulis's face, but the other men were on Henry instantly.
No! Maggie screamed.
She threw herself at Jackie, clawing at his eyes to save her husband. Jackie, panicked and furious, threw her to the ground. He raised his pistol. The gunshot echoed across the plains, louder than thunder. Maggie clutched her stomach, her face twisting in shock rather than pain.
She collapsed. No! Henry screamed, breaking free just enough to crawl to her.
He pulled her into his arms, but the light was already fading from her eyes.
What the hell?
Ulis Simpson yelled, looking at Jackie in disbelief. Otis didn't wait. He grabbed Yona, who was wailing in terror, and bolted for the cover of the oil derrick. He slid into a hidden bunker, clamping a hand over the child's mouth, tears streaming down his own face. 2 more shots rang out.
Then silence.
Otis squeezed his eyes shut, holding the trembling boy as the sound of horses faded into the distance, leaving them alone with the dead.